one more little bit about the Xbox news today, and that's there's some really great reporting by Jason Schreier about Microsoft canceling one of the Blizzard video games in it, and then it was a crafting game. I'm going to read off of this. I'll link to the article. You should read the article. Jason Schreier, you follow him. He's also got a podcast with some friends. Really good reporter on this stuff. It was conceived as a survival game like Minecraft and Rust, but more polished and fewer bugs. Not a bad premise. It's a new world, doing all of that. Originally, it was prototyped in the Unreal Engine. And right, we've talked about oh my God, you should make your own engine. Well, they did. Blizzard instead directed the Odyssey team to use Synapse, an internal engine that the company had originally developed for mobile games and envisioned as something that would be shared across many projects. But that led to significant problems as the technology was slow to coalesce, and the Odyssey's artists instead spent time prototyping content in the Unreal Engine that they knew would have to be discarded later. You would not believe how common of a process that is you have these people working on the game. They want to keep going on the game, but the engine is holding them up. And so what they do is not busy work, they're learning, but still, it's trying, right? And so originally, when they heard of the merger, the team was excited, thinking that they could maybe switch back to Unreal, but instead they were mostly let go. Some moved to different projects. Now, so that is a choice made by somebody probably not on the team, since they didn't start on Unreal, to use a different internal engine. So every single executive will talk about their own engine. And I mean, look at EA, that Madden has to share the same bugs as Battlefield because they need to be on the same engine. I get it. You think there's this great savings of costs, and we're going to normalize, and teams are going to be able to move over because they know the same things, and we'll build up this knowledge on this engine. Like there is good thought about that, right? I mean, I think, you look at the GTAs, probably could only be built because of their engine. But it's also I bring this up because people kind of throw this up of well, just make your own engine. You're a big this is problematic even for a company the size of Blizzard, right? Which is a $69 billion company. Wasn't that the purchase price? Right, it is problematic. It is not that easy. This is a 6-year, 100-person team. I didn't do the math, so let's just do the math. So they're in Southern California, and we're going to nicely say with everything, they're $200,000 ahead, roughly, with some being higher, some being lower. Salaries, right? That is $200,000 for a 100-person team times 6. That is $120 million. And that just went away. So their bet, and they prototyped it, they incubated it, right? They did all these right steps. Their bet, $120 million just gone. 6 years of work for 100 people, gone. This is why I like to ship. I joke about that, of you can say what you want about things I've worked on, but I like to ship because I like to get it out there. I like to have that process of having it in the people's hands because of this, right? I've been on projects that haven't shipped. It's demoralizing. And so this is $120 million. So it's not like Blizzard didn't try something, right? They tried something. They spent $120 million on trying it. If the math is right, I don't know, someone could check that. But it still didn't work. And it never even saw the light of day. So, I mean, on one side, you want to say, well, okay, Blizzard, good for you for investing and trying new things and new IP and everything. But yet, bad for you for thinking you had to be on a mobile game engine? I mean, yeah, right. And this is some of it. It may have been when it was conceived and they made that switch that mobile was the way forward and we should all be on mobile and we should care about, PC or console and it should be mobile. And then that landscape changed, right? So, again, it's not like they're being evil and stupid. I could have been a good choice 6 years ago, kind of, maybe. Right, but all of these bets need to happen so far ahead of time and then move forward into the modern landscape that has changed with technology that's changed. And so there's 100 people or so that lost their jobs for they did nothing wrong, right? They did nothing wrong. They probably made something really cool, but we'll never see, right? I say really cool in the sense of like parts of it were really cool. I agree, right? I'm going to say that the executives are also stupid that looked at it and goes, this is $120 million. To finish it out is going to be 3 more years. That's another $80 million, $60 million, $60 million. And then we're going to have to spend another $250 million marketing it. Right? I mean, and then, yeah, you have Gary from Rust laughing, who released a buggy thing and just said, I'm just going to keep updating it and I don't care. Right? He didn't even ever put the game on Rust on sale, and now Rust is taking over the world, right? Could you predict that? No, right? But yeah, good on him. Right? But yeah, they're struggling a little bit with Sandbox, and during the VR stuff, they had some missteps. So not everybody's perfect, right? But it's a good approach. They didn't put a lot of money on things and built it up. You remember what Rust was in the beginning? It was literally you had a rock and you were naked. But right, like you can't blame Blizzard for this bet, but yet clearly you can, in hindsight, go, oh, look at all the mistakes you made. So this is when I say, like, what is the sustainable future you're guiding for, Phil Spencer? Are you guiding for the, like, it's always like, what skate to where the puck isn't, or where the puck's going, not where it is. Ooh, yeah, right? Like, sure. There's a bunch of cliches we can throw at this. But, I mean, I think this project is a good example of a lot of people not doing the wrong thing individually, adding up to the wrong thing, and then the workers paying the price for it. Now, a bunch of other people left Blizzard, so I mean, clearly other people paid the price for it as well. I'm not trying to diminish the worker impact here, or even the other people's impact, but like this stinks, right? And so this is a rough thing, where I think a lot of times you look at somebody like Riot when they release Valorant. It may not be perfect, but they're like, we can throw enough resources at this and we can throw enough focus at this that we can build it up. And so you see some companies try to do that, right? But even like somebody as big as Ubersoft, remember Hyperscape? Hyperscape was going to be the next Battle Royale, and they had some different thoughts about it, and they did some stuff. I'm not saying it was poorly designed, but it just didn't click. And streamers were making bank. Do you remember, what was it, Future People, Super People, right? That took off for a while, and every streamer was playing it because they spread money around, and then that didn't take, right? And so these bets are hard to make. These big bets are hard to make and don't always pay off. And so this is where, you got to look at this analytically, and you got to be like the bean counter looking at this. But I bet you they had a bunch of bean counters looking at this, and those bean counters still didn't get it right. It was hard, and it's hit driven, and it's taste, and it's technology all rolled into one. So, not that I have anything insightful to say about this project shutdown. Like I said, I'll link to the article. You should read it. But I think it is insightful into the landscape of the current industry and how tentative and scared everybody is a little bit, because these are some hard choices to make in an uncertain future. And I don't think we've understood what should we be making post games as a service. I'm listening to a podcast this morning, and the guy is just lamenting that Pal World isn't free to play and didn't create a bunch of gotcha. And like, no, I hate that guy. He always is, everything's about money. He thinks Lethal Company is a bad game because it didn't monetize enough. Things can exist in between and just make some money equally. So I don't know. But yeah, here's where we are. It's pretty uncertain. This is why people think that way, because they want to monetize out the winners and capitalize so they can take everything else that's just struggling. But this one we didn't even get to see. So sorry for everybody there at Blizzard who worked on this. Hope to see what you make next.